Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to my Ultimate Zodiac Showdown series. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the love and hate compatibility between Capricorn versus Aries. Now I recommend watching this video if you happen to have your Sun, your Moon, your Mars, your Venus, and even your Mercury within either of these two signs, because of course Mercury is all about communication, and communication is really important when it comes to relationships and compatibility. However, before we do get started, if you would like to know more information all about compatibility within astrology, along with your Venus sign, as well as your Libra house and your 7th house within your natal birth chart, then I have created a Libra season / archetype ebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today. Okay then, so with all those introductions out of the way, Capricorn versus Aries. Let's do this. So first and foremost, what is happening between these two signs is that they are making what's called a square aspect between one another within the zodiac wheel. And what square aspects can suggest is that they can create conflict, tensions, pressures, and criticisms. However, what I want to do is I not only want to address these things, I also want to look at the compatibility overall, so even looking at how these two can really connect and relate and come together within a union. And what I think a Capricorn can be attracted to within an Aries is that they can be attracted to how driven Aries people can be, how passionate they can be, how motivated they can be, how an Aries is also very self-reliant, just like the Capricorn. And see, this is where it's quite interesting, because both of them are actually highly driven. You know, both of them can be seen as really passionate people and highly motivated people. It's just that they express it in different ways. So the Capricorn may sort of look to the Aries and be attracted to how the Aries has more of a spontaneity with it. They have more of a get up and go type of energy. And whenever an Aries say they're going to do something, they don't just talk about it, they actually do it. But I also think that the Capricorn can be like that as well. So when a Capricorn looks to an Aries, they may see just this fireball, but also they may admire the risk, the dangers that the Aries goes into. Now, this is quite funny, because whilst a Capricorn may actually ask an Aries some questions about their experiences and what they've done, the Capricorn may be really shocked and really surprised, because Capricorns, you see, they're a bit more cautious. They're more about playing it safe. So as I was saying about how both of them can be really driven people, really strong initiators in that regard, well, a Capricorn is going to strategize better. They're going to plan out things a lot better. So whilst, yes, a Capricorn can turn to the Aries and admire the Aries spark and spontaneity, at the same time, they may also feel a little bit intimidated or a bit threatened by it. So if we were to put this into a certain scenario, okay, let's try to paint a certain picture. Let's say, for example, that the both of them meet within the workplace, okay? They're on the job and they work maybe in completely different departments. An Aries may fly into that job and be so assertive. Like, you set a task for an Aries, they will get it done. They will try to think of the quickest way to do it, the best way to do it that really works for them, and they will deliver. The Capricorn then, let's say the Capricorn is the one who was already in the role and the Aries is the new start. The Capricorn is going to find that quick pace, or how Aries does things, to be really quite interesting. But at the same time, the Capricorn isn't necessarily going to show that right away. They may be more from a distance. They'll pick up on things that the Aries does. You know, Capricorns can be highly observant people, and they can be really good at looking at how everything systematically works or comes together, how things are managed well. And that's, you know, you do notice with Capricorns that they can go into manager positions, they can go into being bosses and things like that, because they're good at being able to focus on how everything is operating and how everything is also built. So the Capricorn to the Aries may be observing the Aries in this way, but then the Aries, you see, this is where we bring in the Aries into the picture, the Aries may not even be aware of that, you know, and Aries is just like, I'm in my lane, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing my job, that's it. So they might not even be aware that a Capricorn is even interested in them in the first place. But, if an Aries is interested in a Capricorn, well, an Aries most likely will initiate that. They may be that person that brings up a conversation, or they may ask questions towards the Capricorn to begin with. And what I actually think that the Aries may be attracted to within the Capricorn is that they may be attracted to how the Capricorn can seem a little bit hard to figure out. You know, Capricorns can give kind of mixed signals, I think, but it's not intentional. You know, it's really not intentional, especially in love. You know, so you could put Venus in here into the mix, of course, but a Capricorn, whenever they're interested in somebody, they don't necessarily make it super obvious, and so an Aries might not even realize that the Capricorn is even into them, but still that Aries may be interested in how the Capricorn seems a little bit more controlled or just harder to crack through. You know, Capricorns can be a little bit guarded or a bit rigid, and the Aries may look at this as, okay, all right, well, I think you're good looking. I'd say that I'm sexually attracted to you. You know, of course, Aries as well, the drive, sex drive, Mars, these types of things. If an Aries feels that like sexual desire for someone, they just kind of lead with the body, you know? So if they're being led by the body, which isn't love, okay, Aries, not love. Don't get that mixed up with love and lust. They're getting led towards Capricorn. They're like, oh yeah, I want to experience that person. Then the Aries just might initiate it. So we can sort of notice with this dynamic that if they are presented with meeting each other or they're in a social situation, then one of them, being Capricorn, may be less obvious about the attraction, but then Aries may be way more obvious about the attraction. Now, that's not necessarily to say that it always will be the Aries that initiates it. I also think that the Capricorn can as well, but still, it's just, it can be really subtle, you know? It's a subtle thing with a Capricorn, especially if the Capricorn is a little bit more guarded and isn't really sure what to do, you know? There can be that awkwardness with people and they don't want to get too emotionally invested, or they want to just play it safe, okay? I feel like with Capricorns, whilst they're more about playing it safe in life, Aries are more about, I don't care. I don't care. I know that there's dangers out there, but what point is it? What use is it to me to just hide behind these walls or just keep myself away from the dangers? How else am I going to learn, you know? And in this way, actually, I think that if they do actually get into a relationship, you can notice how the relationship can really grow and flourish, because not only can an Aries turn to a Capricorn and really bring them out of a lot of their fears. Like, an Aries can definitely help whoever they're with overcome their fears, fight their demons, because they have that fearlessness to them. Now, of course, they still have their vulnerabilities as well, which we will kind of get to, but still, they can help the Capricorn overcome a lot of their fears. But then likewise, a Capricorn can turn to the Aries and not only sort of connect with them over their drive, but also help the Aries understand that by them keeping on with something or persisting with something, it can be then used in the long run. You know, a Capricorn could sort of be a bit of a parental figure to the Aries that way, and can really guide them and mentor them and say, Aries, I noticed that you've went running like every day this week. Well, have you ever thought about maybe doing a race? Have you ever thought about maybe doing a marathon? Because you do realize, like, if you were to keep doing that for days and days or weeks and weeks and months, you could go and enter that competition and you could flip and win some money, you know? See what I'm getting to here? Capricorn can be more long-term minded. They're more future orientated. Whereas Aries is more about, I'm in the now, I'm just doing whatever, I'm not really aware of the consequences to my actions. But then the Capricorn is more aware of the consequences to the actions. So in this way, they can really help build that Aries and like help them grow from just more of that tunnel vision to being aware of how that tunnel vision can help them really expand in the long run. However, of course, it does depend on the actual scenario and where these two signs are at. So we have to provide some context with this. So, if, for example, an Aries is maybe more in their reckless stage, right? They're maybe a bit of a younger Aries. You kind of find with younger Aries types or placements, that energy is much more instant and impulsive and lacks awareness. If that Aries is in that mindset, you know, maybe for example, they're just in a partying stage, or they're just getting drunk every weekend, they're going out with their friends and they're sleeping around, their sex drive is really crazy and they just don't care about STIs, you know, pregnancies, potential pregnancies and all that stuff. They don't really think about it. If they meet a Capricorn and the Capricorn person was more in a secure place in their lives, you know, maybe they're just about going out for a drink once a month, every 6 months. You know, I don't want to party too much, or maybe they're kind of past a lot of those stages in life where, you know, I'm ready to settle down, or I'm ready to commit to somebody. If a Capricorn is in that stage of their lives and then Aries is in that stage of their lives, that may not work out in the long run. But then likewise, if an Aries person is in a particular stage in their lives where they have made reckless decisions, yes, but they have learned from those reckless decisions and they've become more self-aware of their actions and consequences to their actions. And so what they've been able to do is they've been able to place that energy into some sort of goal. If they're in that, whilst the Capricorn person is in a stage of their lives where maybe they're experiencing a lot of struggles, things are really hard, they're starting to spiral down into pessimism, depressive thoughts, self-doubt. They're starting to reassess their whole life and, oh my goodness, why is this my life? And they just want to turn to the bottle and just drink their worries away and forget about it all. Well, them being with the Aries person and that situation happening, that's also not going to work out very well either for both parties involved. Especially within that situation, I mean, you could have the Capricorn then dragging the Aries down into their self-doubt, into their pessimistic thoughts, dragging them down whenever the Aries is just trying to move forward and they don't want to look at all that dark stuff. But then also, if The Capricorn is more about, right, I'm working, I'm doing my thing, I'm in the career, like I'm putting in the time, you know, they're building themselves up now, right? They're trying to really push through and persist and succeed. And that's something that provides them with a lot of passion. That's great, right? But if the Aries is then being reckless, impulsively spending their money on stuff, they're just doing really risky things with just no regard, absolutely no regard to the Capricorn. When the Capricorn's doing so much for the union, for the two of them, the Aries is not seeing it, the Aries doesn't care, then again, there's going to be conflicts. You know, this could even be a scenario where the Capricorn is more aware of how much money the two of them are making together. So we're moving this away from just initial attraction and we're putting this into now a committed relationship. And if they decide to commit to each other and the Capricorn is more focused on the money and the stability and the finances in that regard between the two of them and how both of them working is really important. But then the Aries is just more about, hey, let's just go off on a whim, like let's go have fun, let's go party, you know, let's go to Vegas, let's do something adventurous. Oh, you know, you've saved $5,000, hey, let's just spend 3,000 of that for a really fun time, yeah. You know, that can create some serious conflicts within the relationship. So let's actually discuss here what these signs may really enjoy doing together. I think that these signs may enjoy going on certain shopping trips together, so maybe trying to buy certain items for their house if they share a house together, or just going clothes shopping together, or maybe, yeah, Aries is wanting to go on one of their sudden impulsive spending sprees, shopping sprees. The Capricorn can come along and support them or view their outfits and let them know their opinions on their outfits, which the Capricorn is going to be very honest about the Aries sense of style and fashion. But then also, I think that if, for example, the Capricorn wanted a new suit for work, or they were looking for a nice dress for a certain formal event, or if they were just looking for a nice new pair of boots to wear for the winter, then the Aries can also join the Capricorn on that trip and also let them know their thoughts and opinions, because likewise, an Aries is going to be very clear about what their opinions are as well. So I can see them enjoying shopping together, going to nice restaurants together, really switching it up, trying new places. But then I can also see how maybe a Capricorn likes to go to quieter areas, you know, places that are maybe a bit outside of the city and more out into nature, or into more isolated areas out in the countryside, which the Aries may also enjoy as well, provided that there's maybe good music in the car on the way, or that they can have some fun. Or, you know what, maybe even the Aries suggests to the Capricorn, hey, you know what, let's actually cycle, let's walk, let's go and ride horses together out in that countryside. You know, the Aries can bring just a lot of innovative, fun ideas to whatever they choose to do together. When it comes to affection between the two of these signs, well, how they show affection towards one another can be quite different. So, for example, let's say that they're out in public together. An Aries person is more likely going to want to hold the Capricorn's hand. They're more likely going to goof around and play around with the Capricorn. But then the Capricorn, they will maybe like holding hands, you know, but they may not really be as affectionate as an Aries would be. And especially at the beginning of the relationship, whenever the Capricorn is trying to just get to know the Aries, then they might be a little bit more restrained or a little bit more guarded from showing certain affections towards the Aries. Though I still do think that a Capricorn can start to show affection in the little ways that they know how. And what I mean by this is that they could just do a really light, subtle thing. You know, it doesn't have to be with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, not too over the top, just something really simple. Really simple, maybe something quite traditional, or just something that's a bit more sophisticated and a bit more classy. Okay, so now we have sort of discussed the love and romance and courtship and all that good stuff. Let's now look at the anger between these two signs. Okay, so let's say for example that an Aries person decides that they're going to go out with their friends on a Friday night. They've been working all week and all they want to do is go out and dance. The Capricorn may decide that night, you know what, I'm just going to stay at home. You go on. So of course they're in a committed relationship living together with this scenario. The Aries goes out, Capricorn stays at home. But then what ends up happening is that the Aries is super late. So what happens is the Aries arrives home and the Capricorn is there and the Capricorn is worried sick. They were worried sick. Maybe the Aries is like 2 or 3 hours later than they said they would be home, or maybe they weren't answering their calls, or maybe their phone was off. All these things that can worry the Capricorn a lot. So the Aries gets home and the Capricorn says, you know, what happened? Like, and the Aries, if the Aries gives a response that is more like, it's really not a big deal. I don't understand why you were worried. Why couldn't you have just went to bed? I mean, if it were me, then I would have got it and I wouldn't have cared so much. I mean, I trust you anyways and like it's all good. Oh, if the Aries responds like that and it's just more about, well, I wouldn't do that, like I would be completely fine, you know, Aries just more about the self in that way, then the Capricorn can be kind of annoyed and it may make them feel like they're not really appreciated by the Aries. And what could even happen from this is it could spiral out of control, you know, it could spiral out of control because whilst an Aries can be really headstrong in their views and their opinions and what they think, a Capricorn, they can also be quite persistent with their opinions. They can be persistent with what they think. So this blend, I think, of being persistent and determined almost to be right or correct or to not be disrespected, that combination with this strong, aggressive, headstrong energy, it can make for some blow-ups, let's just say. And these blow-ups could probably be really, really messy, you know? This could even be a situation where the Aries maybe even lashes out, or the Capricorn even does something that can even ruin the Aries' reputation. You know, anger for these two, especially if the Aries really pushes on the Capricorn, which the Aries can have a tendency to do, that Capricorn will retaliate and they will push back just as much and want to be the authority, you know? So it's almost like a parent, like an authoritative figure, and a child having an argument. So I think with this scenario, it might be good for, firstly, for Capricorn to address how they approach that situation in the first place. To try and not come across as this authoritative figure that is demanding that the Aries tells them where they were, why they're late, what happened, that type of parental energy. It's good for them to know, calm down to the Aries level and speak to the Aries as if, you know, it's more unbiased, it's more genuine. But then I think it would also be good for the Aries to be considerate to that, you know, to be more consciously aware. Oh crap, my phone's off, I'm 3 hours late, and come home and to be honest, just to say in that moment, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you're up, like, you've been up for three hours worrying about me? Oh, I'm really sorry about that, and my phone died, you know, and I was with my friends and this happened. So it's good for both parties to really communicate from a place of both of them are level with each other. But then also looking at the other side of this, let's say for example that the two of them are out in public together and maybe something arises within the Aries that makes them angry. The Aries might have the tendency of running their mouth towards the Capricorn in front of everybody, and they have this attitude of I literally don't care who hears me, I don't care about the fact that we are in public right now. But whilst that's happening, the Capricorn can feel really disheartened by that. They almost want to retaliate and stand up for themselves, but because they're in the public eye and they're more aware of their appearance and who's around them, they just kind of bottle it up and they keep it in and they don't want to let out their emotions. So they'll keep that controlled a bit. But then whenever they both go into their own home, what might happen is you could have the Aries who's maybe over it at this stage, because Aries can have that tendency of letting out their anger in that moment and then it dies down and then it just fades away and they're over it. But it's not over for the Capricorn. It's not over for them. It will be a long time before it's over. It will be a long time. Okay, it depends on the situation, okay? It depends on the situation. But if they're not over it and they still feel that, but then the Aries is, what actually might even end up happening is if the Capricorn is aware of how aggressive the Aries can be and how far they may even take it, the Capricorn might even possibly just not even say anything. They might even repress that, but instead they just tuck it away. Let's not push the Aries, because do you know what? As the Capricorn, I can't be bothered. Like I can't be bothered listening to it anymore. I can't be bothered with how aggressive they can be and with how they use their words to really hurt me and how they can bang things and how they just use their anger on me. I don't want it anymore. You know, it could get to that point. This could even be a situation where the Capricorn then tries to bring out their anger and express it, but the Aries can just be so dominating and so like overpowering, where they're like, no, you're not gonna boss me around, you're not gonna express that anger, I'm even more angry. You see how this can go? This duo, when things get tough, it can be really tough, I think. Especially looking at this anger department. So it would be really beneficial for an Aries not to do that in public, like to have awareness about who's around. You know, it's not nice to isolate someone that, yes, okay, maybe you're pissed, maybe they do deserve it, maybe the Capricorn did something really crappy to the Aries, but I feel like doing that in a public space, that can just create a lot of humiliation for a person. Therefore, I think it would be good for the Aries to, yes, express their anger to the Capricorn, but just say to them, like, we're going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this whenever we get home, whenever it's just me and you. Let's communicate this, for these frustrations. I feel so angry. But then also, I think it's important for the Capricorn not to repress their anger, not to reject their anger because of fears or because they don't want to get into that argument once again. Ultimately, I think that this can be a relationship that is highly ambitious, motivating, and even competitive. But I think that whilst a Capricorn is learning how to overcome their fears and to just speak up in terms of their fears and their own vulnerabilities towards the Aries, that I think that the Aries would actually really, really appreciate and respect about the Capricorn. Just the Capricorn maybe doesn't know that. But also, it would be good for the Aries to learn how to maybe not put up such a front either. You know, Aries can still have their soft hearts and they can be quite vulnerable, or sure, they can be afraid of showing their vulnerabilities as well a little bit. So with that being said, it would be good for the Aries to learn how to just let their vulnerability show every now and then, to show the Capricorn. I think that by doing that, they can show the Capricorn that they also have fears. Just like the Capricorn, you know? We all have our own fears that we're facing. It's just, both of these signs, I think, can be really good at hiding them. But yeah, I think in a relationship, if they can learn to appreciate one another, they can really help each other overcome their fears and different challenges that they experience throughout their lives. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the love and hate compatibility between Capricorn versus Aries. Now, if you do happen to have any thoughts and opinions on today's video, then certainly let us know in the comment section. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button. And I will be back with another video very, very soon.